is a concept from the Holy Book, and it is very well documented. And if we do a Google search, we can find a 1 ton of pages around it. So it's not an invention, it's not a political jumla or something which crossed his mind and he's trying to sell it as a poll pitch. So there's a concept like that, there's an effort like this. If we go into the history, Egypt was converted in 32 years. And if we look at Turkey, 22 years, Lebanon, 40 years. So if the demography somewhere down the line changes and the things go that way, then these kind of concepts cannot be looked aside. There is a possibility like this. This might not be the talk on the ground, but if the demographies turn, this is a serious possibility. So I think he is bringing up this issue, looking at this phase of the election where it's a Muslim-dominated vote, and some parties like Samajwadi Party have been blatantly talking about that they win on the Muslim vote. It is Moradabad with 51% of the vote, Bijnor with 47, Sambal with 47. So these are so here the Muslims are in domination. It's our bastion, and we are going to make through because Muslims are in domination. So as a matter of fact, themselves, political parties do bring in this word Muslim and Muslim domination as the key to win the seat. Then obviously that has to be rebutted in a political scenario. And if we are not naive, this is a concept which is very much prevalent. It's not an invention, it's not a discovery. It is there, and we have debated on it before as well. It's right there. I mean, we can't debate it is not there or it's an invention.
But is it convenience? Major Shah, I was playing out, in fact, a couple of days ago, a clip of Abdul Nasir from 1966, where he was in conversation with these people.
Rishabh, the point here is that if you look at what is happening around, look, Kashmiri Pandit exodus is what happened 20, 30 years back. It's not a story which my grandfather told me. Kairana happened, Sardana happened. In a place called Mallapuram, it's very difficult for a Hindu to buy a piece of land. It's because what Joyitaji rightly said, where the pockets of influence are there. So these pockets of influence and case studies are quite open. From Bangladesh, from Afghanistan, the Hindu population is 0.1%. Pakistan, it's 1.2%. So if this is Afghanistan, it is around 0.1, Bangladesh is around 2, and Pakistan is 1.2. So if this is how the Hindu population shrinks, incidentally 6 in Pakistan have disappeared, have evaporated on the broad daylight. So when we see these things, I talked about Egypt, I talked about, I talked about Egypt, I talked about Lebanon, I talked about one more country, I can't remember the name right now. So when we see the convergence happening there in 20, 30, 40 years, when we sum up these stories, there is definitely a worry. And when we have faced 600 years of Islamic onslaught, 600 years of Islamic onslaught, we have seen how many Hindus were massacred. According to some historians, the maximum community which has been massacred were Hindus. If you look at Tamur, he massacred more than 0.5%.
Okay, so my question, Sumit, was that for those people who genuinely, whether we like it, good, bad, ugly, I'm putting that aside, okay? I'm putting the politics aside for a second. For those people who see these examples and have these genuine concerns of with, how do you have a conversation with them one way or the other?
The best way of having conversation is, Rishabh ji, is what I've been demanding get uniform civil code implemented right now. That is the only short way to prevent it. Our Dharam Sansar is also to talk about Ghazwa-e-Hind. Because if you have a uniform civil code, the demography of the land will not change. If the demography of the land will not change, that is the only insurance. Because if you look at the world history, if the demography changes, there is no insurance, no logic, no rationale works. Because that is what we have been for the last 100 years. And the case studies which I mentioned, which happened in India, what is the influence we do? Why there is a rule a Muslim has to be a chief minister of J&K all along for the last 75 years? Though it says 55-45 population. So these are the practical things which we all live and breathe.
I'm jumping into all the big questions today, guys. Let's go for it.